Alright, so checking out the Bitcoin dominance. Another day, another dollar for the Bitcoin dominance. If we start off on the weekly time frame, I've already talked about this in my extensive Bitcoin dominance video. This is just going to be a quick update. But the charts in the macro for the Bitcoin dominance are just looking better and better by the day. If you don't understand the Bitcoin dominance, it's simply the percent of the total crypto market cap that Bitcoin takes out. So say for example, at this moment in time, it's 46% or 47%. That simply means out of the entire crypto market cap, Bitcoin constitutes 47% of that valuation. So the higher this goes, in theory, the more Bitcoin outperforms altcoins. And if you're a veteran to my channel, if you've been watching all my videos, you know that I've literally been talking about this for weeks now. I've been saying that Bitcoin is massively going to outperform altcoins in this phase. And I mean, look at what the Bitcoin dominance has been doing. I mean, forget about the past couple of weeks. What's Bitcoin really been doing in the past 20 days or so? I mean, it's up almost 13%. Bitcoin dominance is massively rallying. And yesterday in the video I made, Bitcoin, the potential of it rallying into June, I talked about how I think Bitcoin's going to move up to some of these higher price targets, potentially 34,000 and 38,000 before the 15th, which is the FOMC meeting. And it looks like we're doing just that. I mean, if we put the 13 EMA on our screen, you can see this. By the way, the 13 EMA is pretty much a useless indicator when you're trending sideways or in a channel, but when you're breaking out, as in whether you're breaking up bullish or whether you're breaking down bearish, the 13 EMA is normally your first signs of a successful uptrend. And the fact that this converged into the BTC dominance as the Bitcoin dominance was bull flagging, and then we exponentially bull flagged up. We made another bull flag, and now we're bull flagging up again. It's just, I mean, I almost don't need to, talk. I can just kind of show you the chart, and you can see that we're looking absolutely great for the Bitcoin dominance right now. Now, I'm not going to take the price target of this teeny tiny tiny bull flag. I'm actually really still running off my previous price target, which is for the Bitcoin dominance to come all the way up to 49%. If we zoom out on the weekly though, you can still see that we do have a fairly steep area of resistance coming into at 47.8%. Now, the fear and greed in the market is almost unchanged. The extreme fear is kind of diminishing a little bit into fear as the confidence somewhat returns back into the market. And what I talked about in yesterday's video, when we said Bitcoin could be rallying into June, I told you keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance and keep an eye on the altcoin Bitcoin pairs, because we went through, I'm not going to do this for this video because this is literally why yesterday's video was half an hour long. There's tons of data we crammed into that video, so go check it out if you want. But specifically what I was talking about is we looked at previous cycles, specifically the times where Bitcoin was in this kind of phase, dumping to the lows. And we also talked about when Bitcoin was in this phase, this whole accumulation phase. And a lot of people think that, as soon as Bitcoin bottoms and Bitcoin starts running up bullish, that is when altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. And we looked at the previous data, specifically looking at the ETH BTC pairs back in the day, looking at the ADA BTC pairs back in the day. And after Bitcoin bottomed, it still outperformed altcoins for over a year, which is why I've been so adamant on my channel. I'm pretty much one of the only YouTubers that has gone Bitcoin maxi mode at this period in time, because a lot of people are still shilling altcoins. And, we come down, like I showed you, the Bitcoin dominance is still moving up. The altcoins have been moving up in the past couple of days, but who's been outperforming them? Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is still exponentially moving up. Let's check out a few of the alt BTC pairs before we wrap up this video, because like I said, this was a real quick update over on the dominance. I think our first target for the dominance to come up to is this the top of this channel here, coming in at about 2% gain, which would be super nice. I know it's only 2%, but bear in mind, what have we been doing for the past week? Well, we've only moved up 1.26%. And if you've been holding altcoins, then I'm sure that you've been noticing that your Bitcoin valuation on those altcoins has been getting absolutely slaughtered. So for this to come up another 2% to our first price target, let alone potentially coming up another 4.6% to the breakout target of this slightly bigger bull flag here, that would be absolutely exceptional for Bitcoin. And I imagine if Bitcoin is coming up to these higher price targets on the Bitcoin dominance, or should I say higher percent targets over on the Bitcoin dominance, because this isn't a price chart, then I imagine Bitcoin would be going up to our price targets of both either 34,000 up here, 34,000 or 38,000 running into this trend line before the next FOMC meeting. That's something I discussed in depth in yesterday's video. But like I said, the fear in the market is still here. Like, market sentiment hasn't changed. But what's interesting is, you know, it's somewhat of a okay mix, because, you know, I won't deny some of the altcoins at this moment in time on the daily are outperforming Bitcoin. But for example, if we hop over to the weekly time frame, look at what's happening with these altcoins. All of these altcoins, you know, Ape, Gala, Axie, Engine, they're all getting slaughtered. And, you know, you can see this. Some of them in the past week have moved up very, very slight amounts. So while Bitcoin has been massively outperforming everything, you've got some cryptos like Engine, which have tried to, you know, push up about 3.5% in the week. But this, in my opinion, is really just showing the extreme weakness of the altcoins right now. Once again, Cadena against BTC. This has got tons of hype, but still, you know, looking at this on the daily time frame, we're wiping out all the gains from the past 3 days worth of a pump. And this is exactly what we've been talking about over on the Bitcoin dominance. We said Bitcoin dominance moves up, Bitcoin is going to outperform these altcoins. So if you're buying altcoins right now, you definitely need to check out these alt BTC pairs. Doesn't matter if you're buying crypto.com, Dogecoin, JASMY, if you're buying, you know, XRP, any of these cryptos, they're all massively underperforming against BTC. Even if we click on the ones that are in the past day slightly pushing up, I mean, look at this. And look at this. These are the ones that are in the short term outperforming Bitcoin. And as you can tell, in the long term, they're really, really not too hot at this moment in time. So I've been saying it. I've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks in my videos. I've been talking about it on Twitter. I've been talking about it on Discord. If you go through any of my videos the past couple of weeks, even in the past couple of weeks, I've been covering altcoins a lot less and focusing on Bitcoin, because this is what needs to be said. It is Bitcoin maxi season. If you were not here in 2018, you don't know what cheap altcoins are. I'm telling you, it can get a lot worse from where we are right now. Do not try and fight the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance is exponentially breaking out. We flipped the EMA ribbons on the daily. On the weekly, we're finally starting to push massively above these, and EMA ribbons are converging in our favor. So there's honestly not much else to say. The RSI is heading up very, very strongly. Bear in mind, I would like to see somewhat of a consolidation to the side for a prolonged period of time after we do take out the 47%, and I imagine that is exactly what we're going to do. I mean, bear in mind, we came all the way up to 71 before we topped out in the short term, and then we came back into the weekly EMA ribbons to flip them. So I feel like by the time we come back into these EMA ribbons, they are going to be wholeheartedly and solidly above this little downtrend that we've been in. So like I've been saying, I think it's likely that we're probably going to move up to about 49%. Maybe it won't play out as bullishly as it did before, where we literally went on a massive rally for a couple of months after we did take that out. I would absolutely love that, because, you know, if you've been keeping up to date on what I'm doing with my portfolio, I'm basically all in Bitcoin right now. I've got 90% of my portfolio in Bitcoin, and I've got about another 10% in either NFTs that I own or some very picky altcoins that I'm holding, like Cake, Solana, that I'm staking, and then also I've got a couple of tokens over on Solana, some SLP tokens, and then obviously my Solana NFTs, all of that good stuff. That stuff takes up about 10% of my portfolio right now. And like I've been saying, it is Bitcoin maxi season. You might hate to hear it, you might be looking for better gains in the altcoin market, but just look at the alt BTC pairs. They're not looking too good right now. I have a feeling backed up by my gut and basically what is going on in the charts right now, that the Bitcoin dominance is going to keep exponentially rising and the altcoins are going to keep underperforming against Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm going to make an update on what I think is going on in the Bitcoin price. Not too much has changed since yesterday's video. I mean, yesterday we were somewhere around here, 30,600. I was talking about how I think within the next 2 weeks we're going to move up to between 34 and 38,000. None of that has changed, but I will be updating the short-term technicals later on my channel today. So that is all I've got for you today for the Bitcoin dominance. One last thing before I do wrap up this video, which has not too much to do with crypto, but this is my first recorded video over on my new PC. As you can see down here, my taskbar's changed. I'm over on Windows 11. I've got a completely new PC. So the live stream should be faster, the upload should be faster. I should be able to make more content in theory of this, but let me know if the sound quality's changed. I think when I listen to it on playback, the audio sound like it changed quite drastically to me. But let me know if you think it's all right, because I'll be running off your feedback on that. That is all I've got for today on the Bitcoin dominance. Good to be back with the multiple daily uploads after such a long period of time. I've been very, very busy, but I am back. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.